Hi guys, back with another video. This video is going to be different than my other videos. So I currently have a video up called This Happened to Me, Scary Story. It's a story of something that happened to me while I was hunting 30 some years ago in the woods. Really scared me a lot. So it seems like there's a lot of interest in it because that video has really taken off. Got a ton of views on it, a lot of likes, a lot of people watching it. So there seems to be an interest in strange happenings. So I have another story. This happened to me earlier than that story. This happened to me probably when I was, I'm thinking 16, 17 years old. And this incident really changed the way I looked at the world, looked at different things. When you hear, people tell weird stories of strange happenings, this thing that happened to me really made me look at things differently, not so skeptically. So let me tell you what happened. Years ago, we used to have an Ouija board. Every once in a while in the evening, my sisters would get it out. A couple of us friends, a bunch of us would get together. We'd get it out. We'd ask it questions. So this one day, my sisters happened to have, I think, one or two of their friends come over, and they were in the room using the Ouija board. So I was there. My buddy was there. My brother was there. One of his buddies was there. There's a whole bunch of us kids. When I grew up, there's a bunch of us kids hung out at my place. So anyways, the girls are in the room. They're playing with the Ouija board, asking it questions, typical girl stuff. Some of the questions they would ask were about if this boy liked them in school or that boy. So when us guys come in the room, we hear the questions they're asking. We start laughing and agitating them. So you guys are just pushing that game piece around just so it would give you the answer that you want. No, we're not. My sisters would get mad. We always agitated them. No, we're not. It does it all by itself. So we're laughing and we're watching them ask it with this, more questions about this boy and that boy in school. Girls were at that age. So I got the bright idea. I was skeptical and I wanted to prove it to them that they were moving that game piece because I wanted to ask them to tell it questions to see if it would get the right answer because I knew they wouldn't know the answer to the question I was asking. So I would say a question, they would ask it, and it would get the answer right. Now, it was simple stuff like the capital of Pennsylvania, just simple things that I knew they wouldn't know. And it would get those questions right. So I started looking like that's, I can't believe that they're even they even got the answer to that because I know they don't know stuff like that. They were younger. I think my sister, they might have been 7 and 9 years old at that time. They might have been a little older, maybe 10. But they were, right at that pre-teen age. So I knew they didn't know some of the answers to these questions, but it was getting it right. And I noticed that when I would go to tell them the question to ask, that it would start to answer it. Before I even got the question out of my mouth, it would start spelling out words and going to numbers or whatever. And I asked myself, I said, how do you know what I'm even going to ask? You're already answering it before. And they said, we told you, we're not doing it. It does it by itself. So I'm starting to wonder, how I'm not even getting the whole question out and it's going right to the numbers, to answer it. How did they even know that the answer required a number or being spelled out? I don't know. So me being the skeptic, always wanting to prove something, I said, I'm not even going to say the question out loud. I'll just ask it in my head. We'll see if it gets the answer then. So I wasn't even touching the game piece. My sister and her friend, they had their hands on it. I was just standing back. I'd close my eyes. I'd ask it a question. And sure enough, that thing would answer the question and get it right. Now, I would ask it simple things, stuff that would require words to be spelled out or a number. I know some of the questions I asked were, what was my middle name? I didn't say anything out loud. It would spell out my middle name. I'd ask it, what time is it? And I remember it was 7:21 in the evening. It was in the evening. I think it was like a Friday or Saturday evening when all us kids were, we didn't have to worry about school. And it was 7:21. That thing would go right to the numbers, 721. Look at the clock at 721. And I was being less skeptical then. And I kept asking my sisters, how do you know what I'm asking? Oh, we didn't ask it. We didn't move it. It does it by itself. They kept saying the same thing. I remember my buddies, they're getting on me saying, all you're doing is thinking of a question that matches the answer. So they're like being skeptical of me. I said, no, I'm not. I said, that thing knows what I'm thinking. I can't believe it. That was blowing me away, that a stupid game would somehow know what I was thinking, could get in my head and know the answers or know things I was thinking about. That blew me away. So all of us are there, you know, the girls, a couple of us guys, and my buddies there. We said, why don't you ask it a question? That's what I told him. Why don't you ask it a question? He goes, I ain't asking it nothing. And we said, well, then just think of a word. We all, yeah, just think of a word. Just think of a word. So he goes, okay, I got a word. So it spells out ASS, ass. And I remember back then, we were good kids. We didn't cuss and swear like a lot of kids did, especially my sisters. They were younger, like I said, 9, 10, somewhere around that age. And I remember my youngest sister goes, oh, that's a bad word, because we didn't swear. And we giggled at that a little bit. So we look at my buddy. Oh, that was just a lucky guess. So anyways, I thought I'd tell the story about an Ouija board. To this day, I will not touch one. I don't want to look at one. I'm even skeptical. I don't even know if I use one in the thumbnail for this, a picture of one, because I just don't want to be around it. I mean, it jarred me that much that I don't want anything to do with one, because I think there's something attached to that, something we don't quite understand. But I think that stuff's legit, especially from my experience with it, from some of the things that it, with how it knew answers. And before that, we would play with it, and we would ask it questions. And I remember asking it different things. You ask, and it would guess stuff right. I know that my mother, I had several aunts. Once in a while they would come over and they would get it out. It was just something to do in the evenings. Back then we didn't have internet and all that stuff. So you played board games and you did stuff to entertain, like on weekends when you had company. So I remember my mom and my aunts would get that thing out and they would ask it questions. I remember my one aunt asked it about, she's worried about her son. He's graduating high school. What kind of job's he going to get? And it said oil rig. And what you know, it was about 2 years later, he got a job in Texas on an oil rig. So there was a lot of things that it answered. I could think of different things. It actually got the name of my future wife, which I'm divorced now, and I don't want to say this for the world to hear, but back when I was a kid, we asked it who I would marry, and it actually gave the name of the first name of I was married twice, but it actually gave the name of my wife, which I thought was weird, because back then there was a girl in high school by that name. She was a cheerleader. She was pretty hot. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, I might end up marrying her. But it wasn't her. But anyway, it just kind of blows me away how, just a stupid game, something like that, could get in your head and know what you're thinking. So when people tell you that, oh, those things are evil, they open doors that you don't want to open, I 100% believe that. There's stuff there that we don't understand that we shouldn't be messing with. So I just want to tell that story. Seems like there's a lot of interest in strange stuff according to the other video I have. I'll post a link to that video below. Maybe at the end of this video I'll have a thumbnail for it if you haven't seen it. So being that there's an interest in that stuff and that video really took off, I thought I would add this video to my channel so that you can hear a different story. Alright guys, that's all I got for you. I'll see you on the next video.